Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
Still the foot.
Because you always use that active when defenders
I've been given like
People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. I hope everybody's doing well and safe. Obviously, good evening to those of you like myself over here in England. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night in some cases. I hope everyone else around the world is doing well and safe. Hope you've all had a good week and you're all, looking back at this week in relation to the weekend with fondness. Hope you've all got your health. Hope you're all, in a good space, man. And I hope you're all, got your enthusiasm and things like that. I hope you're doing well and safe for the 1000th time. Please make sure we're hitting the like button on our way in. I hope you're doing well and safe. And yeah, man, we're here in it. Obviously, we're going to see what Arteta's had to say in his press conference. He's more or less confirmed Ramsdale. I know we haven't seen him holding the shirt and the same media duties and luxuries that were afforded to Odegaard, but they will probably happen in due course. We'll preview Chelsea tomorrow, but I'm more than welcome to answer some comments. There's a couple of fallout talking points from Arsenal, and I'm sure there's other 1-2 things you lot got to say. So yeah, man, one love to everybody locked in. Yeah, and it's always fantastic to be here with you lot. Make sure you're checking out the Deluded podcast after this as well, people. Sorry for bringing it out later. As you saw, the news of Odegaard has really put a spanner in my works, and I've been really working with a backlog in relation to a lot of things I'm doing away from YouTube. So been actually unfortunate not able to bring you a couple of Chelsea collabs that I was planning on doing, but we go again, man. Where there's an L, there's a lesson, I guess. So yeah, man, I hope you're doing well and safe. And there's apparently news that Arsenal aren't done with transfers yet, people. Make of that what you will. James, I'm not trying to get anyone gas. Whatever you said as well. At least now I feel with this transfer business, Arteta has nowhere to hide. It's up to him now to make his squad perform. True. Locked in way early to get my daily DG in Cuba. I appreciate you. One love to Mac and Omar as well. Omar, I see your cheeky comments. If we can move people on, I'd rather a right back. I can't lie. Obviously, you're referring to the poll. Please make sure you're voting, people. Would you rather, if only one signing could arrive at this club, would you rather a central midfielder or would you rather, obviously, a right back? There's no right or wrong answers. It's just different viewpoints because I understand people that would want a right back. As I always give the example, if you was to paint 4 walls in your house, if 4 walls needed painting and you've only painted 3, you're only going to be, everyone might admire the other paint and how good that paint job was, but your attention is going to be drawn to the weak area of the team, really and truly. You're only as good as your weakest man, and I feel you've got, say what you want about Gabriel and Ben White, they're all right. Say what you want about Ramsdale and Leno, they should be, if all right to do what we need to do. Tierney speaks for itself. There's one gaping area at right back. Central midfield, we're only going to be as good as the spine. And if Partey's not fit, he's irrelevant. Xhaka, we know what we're getting down that street. So yeah, please make sure you're voting and the rest of it, people. Ramsdale's going to be a good keeper in 2-ish seasons. I hope so. Ramsdale is low-key underrated. Personally, I just feel Ramsdale is a decent keeper with scope to be better, but it's about his willingness to want to improve. It's about several factors. It's about us seeing what level he's in, the areas he needs to improve in, and how we facilitate that. Again, there's a lot of noise. David Seaman, you ask many Arsenal fans, they've only got good things to say about him. When he joined this club, what was said? Again, Arsenal fans weren't saying it as such, and at the time it was a bit before my time, but what was the press saying about Dennis Bergkamp? You ask these same pressmen what they have to say about Dennis Bergkamp now. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. All Ramsdale needs to do is focus on as much as I want him to care about the fans, our opinions are irrelevant. The manager brought you here, the club brought you here, the club believe in you. You do that, fans are fickle, they'll start believing in you. I think Ramsdale's an all right keeper, and the more stick he gets, the more I want to defend him, really and truly. I think he's vocal. Only time will tell how good he is with his feet. In fact, spoiler alert, I've been asking 1-2 Sheffield United fans of their opinion. Obviously, they watch him on a regular basis, and I couldn't quite grab one for a collab, but I've got a video that I can bring out for you guys, you know, and you can see their opinion. I'm actually waiting for when it's officially confirmed with Ramsdale, not just, I know it's as good as confirmed with Arteta. But yeah, man, and on that, we might as well see 1-2 bits and bobs with Mikel Arteta. I'm actually trying to find, where is it? That's the first Ramsdale thing. We might as well spend a bit talking about Ramsdale, people. You know, big up C as well. As she has said, you know, we've had 42 votes. We should have 42 likes. You lot are doing me dirty within this opening period, people. But as you lot see, Aaron Ramsdale, Mikel Arteta predicts why Arsenal fans will love £24 million goalkeeper. Let's scroll down and see exactly what he said. He said, supporters will love Ramsdale once they see him in action. I think the fans are going to love his personality, his character, the quality he has as a goalkeeper, and what he's going to offer. I think he's a young keeper, but he's got huge potential. Again, potential is just a buzzword. Potential is about realizing that. So what are we going to do day in, day out to make him an England international, to make him Arsenal's number one, to make him a pillar of that back 4-5, including himself, to make him a linchpin? Because for me, say what I don't listen, whether you rate him or not, you know, I'm sure many Arsenal fans, and the same goes to Ben White. I speak for many Arsenal fans where we have our concerns, we have our praises for them, but we want them to hear it off, because first things first, it wouldn't be £80 million wasted, and second of all, they're both 23. You know, if you've got them who's 23, Tierney same age, Gabriel around that sort of figure as well, Tierney around that age, if I've made a mistake. That is long-termism. And obviously, if Saliba comes back, you've got long-termism. You've got real foundations. You've got, you know, I don't want to say 10 years because it's naive, but you probably have them for the best part of 5 to so years, you know, 5 to 10 years, if you can hear it off. But like I said, it's about identifying the target and knowing how you're going to realize them. For me, huge potential. It doesn't mean much. You know, if you're a boxer and, you know, and you're good at knocking man out, that's not going to take you to the top and make you stay at the top. Because what happens when you can't knock man out? You need to work on your weaknesses, your defense and dodging and all those sort of things. What is he bad at? You know, and I hope and I'm not saying that to catch him out. I hope they know what he's bad at, because how can he improve? I want him to prove people wrong. I actually want him to do well. I think he's got potential. I think he's got talent. I don't know for best in the world and England number one and things like that, but it is what it is. Aaron is a really talented young goalkeeper with already huge experience and an international for England. And he's going to bring competition, which is what we want, to create healthy competition, quality competition in every position. We needed a goalkeeper there, and he's the ideal option. You know, with what's going on with Leno, probably being indirectly told you have a chance of being number one, or you might not start it, but you'll probably be number one within the next year or so. One has to wonder, surely we need to look for a new keeper as well. Purely because if Leno's not going to be here, next year we're not going to be on the same thing again, because you've got Arthur Akonku and the academy goalies. Maybe they are both levels and there can be our second and third choice. You know, you'd imagine you need a backup to Ramsdale, someone that if something happens to Ramsdale, we're in trouble sort of thing. So again, we need to be scouting. And for me as well, like I said, they shouldn't have any problems, because if you genuinely wanted them and you've done your due diligence and you've done your scouting, we should have half a chance, people. You know, I think you had Martinez last year. I think you've maybe learnt your lesson there, in that you want competition, when I think you betted on Leno in a ridiculous amount. He also said regarding Odegaard, you know, we already spoke about that, in fact, earlier, so I'm not going to reread those comments out, but you know, that's why he said fans would love him. In relation to David Seaman, you know, he's reacted to this transfer, people. David Seaman does not expect Aaron Ramsdale to walk straight into Arsenal starting 11, and has questioned the decision to spend so much on a goalkeeper when Martinez was sold for considerably less. We're all considering that. We're all baffled, but fundamentally we're here now. You know, Martinez is not here. You know, Ramsdale is. We can speak about the decision, we can speak about Ramsdale coming in, but to a degree we've got to get on with it, people. He's back-to-back relegations, 30 million, 23 years of age, becomes the joint most expensive British goalkeeper, and it's down to Ramsdale and the club, people. You know, it's down to Ramsdale and the club. It depends on them. You know, if they hit it off, they develop, and we do the right things, 30 million can look real cheap. If we're moving iffy and there's not, you know, Ramsdale was looking like a duck out of water, much like the rest of our defense in the unit, suddenly we're questioning things. You know, if we start moving like a unit, a lot of players would start looking better, really and truly. Apparently, while club legend Seaman sees similarities between himself and Ramsdale and expects him to do a good job, he's also obviously questioned the approach. There are a lot of similarities. When I joined Arsenal, I was England's #3 goalkeeper at the World Cup in 1990. Ramsdale has done the same. I started getting a load of stick because the fans didn't want me. They're all singing, Lukic is better than Seaman. I can never pronounce that name. You'll never play for Arsenal. How did that work out? He went on to become England and Arsenal #1. He's still learning. You can see that. Will he walk into the team? I don't think so. I think what he's got to do is get into training, impress the manager, and get the respect of the lads as well. He also went on to say it's so frustrating, especially the Martinez one, when you have paid so much money for a goalkeeper and you've let a really good one go. Joe Willett went to Newcastle and had a great loan spell and had the chance of keeping him, but why did they let him go? Clearly because he's not in their plans. I just don't know. And you can look at what is out there. You think is he better than them? Well, you know what? He's gone in it, so we're gonna have to just get on with it, really and truly. We've got no choice. Skipping a bit ahead, people. I want to see again. We're gonna speak about this transcript, but I want to straight to Ramsdale, people. The bits about Ramsdale. On Ramsdale, Mikel Arteta said, "We'll see. There's some paperwork getting done. He's had his medical almost done as well. There are still some signs with Sheffield to be resolved, so we are going to have to wait." This was said in the morning, so you'd imagine there's going to be significant progress. We're going to double back on his press conference soon, people, but just for the purpose of this timestamp, I'm trying to zoom, zoom, and see if there's anything other in relation to Ramsdale. In Ramsdale, he also said, "Well, it's what we want, and it's always been the case at this football club. It's nothing. We're going to have two different profiles at two different stages in their careers. Aaron is a really, really talented young goalkeeper with already huge experience and an international for England, and he's going to bring competition, which is what we want, to create healthy competition, quality competition in every area. We needed a goalie there, and he's an ideal option." On why we should be excited about Ramsdale, we've already spoken about, he likes his personality and all those sort of things. So like I said, we're going to definitely, I haven't read his transcript, so I'm definitely going to read this and be selfish, people. But yeah, man, that's what he said in relation to Ramsdale. So we're going to have to see what happens in relation to the young goalkeeper. I back him. I'll back anyone. And the more hate he gets, the more I want to defend him, really and truly. But it's down to the level of the coaching staff. It's down to how we see this player and how exactly he's going to improve. And it's obviously down to the individual. Like I said, he can either make his price tag look like peanuts or he can make it look expensive. It's completely down to Ramsdale and the club, much like every player in that team, to seize their futures and want to seize their futures. Arteta, I think that's about it. And what are you lot saying before we carry on, man? Chelsea fans tried to criticize that we spent 30 million on Ramsdale while they spent 72 million on Kepa. That's fair enough. Fans keep thinking it's only the manager. In all honesty, Emmy should have just stayed. We wouldn't be in this situation. But if he wanted to go, we can't keep unhappy people, really and truly, man. I'm sorry, Emmy wouldn't have saved Sheffield United either. I think they need more than just one player. DG's work rate is unmatched. Woke up and DG was streaming. After I ate breakfast, DG streams again. And after I go out, DG is live again. Big up, DG. I appreciate that, my guy. But you've also said, is this a live stream? Of course it is, man. I'm going to back the kid. Welcome to Arsenal, Ramsdale. Man said, get 2 of them Ajax kits. I'm definitely grabbing one, my guy. Ramsdale is just for homegrown. It's down to him if he wants to be more than that. Like I said, it's down to him. Fans talk. Fans are fickle. They'll turn, it's much like the music game, I'm pretty sure there's rappers out there. Fellow rappers didn't believe in them. The galley didn't believe in them. They've got a hit and all the galleys are onto them. All the people they probably reached out for collabs are all onto them. That's football. Everyone calls you a flop. You play well. It's amazing. Everybody's your best friend. And that's down to Ramsdale. Fans will back, bro. The minute you start playing well, oh my God. Certain fans, I'm not saying I'm not talking about the fans who have concerns and I want to be proven wrong. I'm talking about them fans that just do the extreme thing. They'll be like, "Oh, I never said Ramsdale was bad. I just said this and that." It's crazy, man. But it's down to him, man. Facts is the guy saying if he plays rubbish, there's a myth on him, man. He went away because Arteta insisted that Leno's the #1 goalkeeper. I think you're talking in relation to Martinez. And yeah, man, it's facts. maybe Arteta's learned his lesson. Now you can't bet on players like Leno that think they're doing this club a favor, and then when they're asking about busting out, you know, Leno don't owe man nothing. If you don't want to sign a new deal, you don't want to sign a new deal. If you think we can play Europe, you go and do that. But this is where I look at the club, because you never, even with players that have left this club, you never get the vibe that it's always like they're choosing to leave. No matter how good or rubbish they are, it's like they're choosing to leave. We're not making decisions. Like, I don't truly feel the club is trying to move on Leno. He's tried to move on Xhaka to Roma, just as two examples. Trying to move on Bellerin. You get the vibe. Bellerin is the one that wants to leave. And I'm pretty sure I speak for many Arsenal fans where some of these names, I don't care who wants to leave or whatever, just as long as you leave. But when you deep it, you're looking at the mentality and thinking, what's going on there, sort of thing. EG, who would you prefer, Aouar or a right back? Because you said Aouar, but I'm leaning more towards right back. But I can't. I think the midfield is a myth, man. I think our midfield we've missed a trick. I think we could have really changed things this summer with our midfield and really made some brave decisions, but ultimately we didn't. So, you know, we're at where we're at, really. Sorry, folks, admin. Oh, there we have it. Sorry, folks. And now we're back fully. Make sure we're hitting that like button, people. These signings Arsenal made are average, and this is why fans should be questioning things on the road they're going. Fair enough, Carl. Partey, Lokonga, Xhaka, El Nene. I still think we need to strengthen in that area with Basuma and a first choice right back like Max Aarons. Bring in El Nana and sell Leno at the end of the season. Plan ahead. Run up the likes, people. Arteta should have kept Martinez, but by continuing to pick him, he did Martinez dirty. Martinez left. I don't blame him at all. Facts. I do think fans move like Martinez is a messiah and whatnot. I think football fans, and I think it's just used as a stick to beat Arsenal with. But you're right, man. I do think Arsenal fans should move on, you know, beyond getting personally attached to the player. I think we should criticize the regime and the reactive nature of it. You know, again, the minute we should have been proactive, you know, towards even if Xhaka changed his mind, the landscape is going to be different when he returns. We didn't. I don't think anyone thinks Leno is better than Martinez. Hopefully we can get a right back before the window is done. At least now we know Oba was truly sick and nothing more. We just hope he can bang again soon. I told you, lot. I mean, one thing I think people need to be honest with is, you know, just because you don't think a player cares doesn't mean they're not committed. Whatever you say about Aubameyang, you can't question his commitment, really and truly. You know, the man would have played. Same with Lacazette, they just physically can't. And you're hoping Aubameyang can play some part of the game against Chelsea. Probably asking a lot. You know, he's only trained, in my knowledge, today or whatever. But yeah, man, you just hope he could be on the bench and give us something, man. DG, where do you honestly think Aouar is going? Not a clue. Not an absolute clue, man. Don't have a clue if I'm completely honest. Hopefully here. Don't know, man. Could even end up at Spuds. But it is what it is in that regards, folks. Firmly. So yeah, let's make some times then. Let's look at Arteta. Let's just go through Arteta's press conference. We might as well, man. You know, it's going to be the longest part. We might as well get through it because I actually want to see what's going on in relation to Arteta's press conference as well, folks. One love to everybody that's locked in. Appreciative of such. Let's go, man. How long do you think it will take Ramsdale to become number one? How long's a piece of string? He's probably going to have to go in, earn his chops and have to wait. Now, there's no Europa League or whatever, so he's just going to have to wait either for Leno to slip up. Sadly, I don't want to talk it into existence, but Leno to get injured because we don't advocate bad health or something like that. Or just train well, keep training well. When then, if Arteta does give you that chance, just be ready, innit? If you're always ready, you don't need to be ready. DG and Curtis streaming at the same time, talk about a rock and a hard place. Listen, go and listen to Curtis and then listen to me, or listen to me and then Curtis. There's gonna be reruns and whatnot. Shout out to Curtis as well, my guy. Hopefully he can get to 100k and all of those sort of things. He's growing rapidly. One love to Curtis, man. One of the most legit guys in this space, in a scene filled with phonies, folks. But moving on. Mikel Arteta has had his press conference on what Odegaard brings to the squad. Well, a lot of things that he brought last season. He made us better. We needed more options, alternatives, creativity, and players that can be morals for this football club. Fair enough. Can't disagree. He's still a really young man, but he has huge experience in different clubs already. He has unique talent based on the way we want to play. So I'm delighted that the club has made an effort and we have Odegaard on a permanent deal. Same. I can't disagree with anything. First thing that I've wholeheartedly agreed with Mikel Arteta about 100%. 40 likes till we hit 100, man. You lot are doing me dirty. It's streams like this that make me feel you lot don't love, man. But moving forward, we've already covered the Ramsdale thing, so I'm going to skip ahead. On lifting morale this week. Now, morale shouldn't be dropped. I know there's a lot of pressure. I need my club to, specifically the 25-man squad, I need you lot to develop a siege mentality. You know, for me, I think we're too volatile. I always say it, you lot need to have a us against the world mentality, which Arteta is kind of on to a degree, in a sense of fans. You need to play for the fans, but fans turn on players and whatnot all the time. You know, I always talk about confidence. Confidence isn't just when the fans are onto you. Sometimes the fans aren't going to believe in you. Sometimes you're not going to believe in yourself. Sometimes you're not going to believe in some of your own teammates. But at the same time, you've got to be able to dig deep. And I only see a couple of those players. Yeah, we lost to Brentford. Yeah, preseason was atrocious. Yes, we finished 8th. Yes, there's a bit of a muddled things. But I don't think we should be acting like it's a funeral. But on lifting morale this week, he said, putting things into perspective, we had an incredible 48 hours before that match. It created a big uncertainty and probably an unprecedented Arsenal lineup. Obviously, he's referring to Lacazette and Aubameyang with the COVID. I don't think we can really look at that. Yes, we had a younger squad, but, you know, every club has had some sort of battle with COVID. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Fortunately, they're going to still alive. I don't really think it means much. Yeah, it throws a shocker up, but that's really no excuse for not turning up, really. But fair enough. We tried everything we had in that game, but it didn't work out. We knew the consequences of that externally, what it was going to mean, but internally, the reaction has been quite positive. It's one day of Premier League football. Also true, it's only game week 31. You've got 37 more. Apply yourself now, and if you apply yourself, come May, you might achieve success. You don't do that and you only turn it on when everything's done like last year, you're not going to achieve success. We have the whole season ahead of us, and any negativity that's going to try and surround this football club is going to be out of these walls. I do think we need to decipher legit question marks and negativity, Arteta, but fair play. I'm feeling the pressure. Fair play. If you don't feel pressure in football or any elite sport, then I think you've picked the wrong profession. I think it's responsibility, not pressure. We have a responsibility to do our best under any circumstances. And do you feel, considering even with COVID and whatnot, we did our best against Brentford? I don't think such. Fair enough, if you're involved in the club internally and you do, then it is what it is. But I don't. Unfortunately, the circumstances are uncontrollable, true. The only thing that's going to happen is something you don't expect, that's for sure. Fair play. Then you have to try and adapt and do the best you can. So why don't I see in-game management and in-game tactics according to what we see in games not changing then? The rest is, you know, like going to a back three when it became abundantly clear we need help against Brentford. The rest is about results, and you know you're going to be judged on those results, are you? Because you took us from 8th to 8th, not really seeing what you're doing from a tactical point of view, but you're still held as a messiah. Whether you are or not, time will tell. But it doesn't mean you're doing a good or bad job because you win or lose football matches. Ooh. I mean, if you're losing on a football in front, but we can see a system, then you're doing a good job. If you're winning, but we don't, then we know it's paper over the cracks. But let's go on. On team news, it's still very uncertain. I cannot give you any answers because I don't know if they're going to be able to train in a few hours. If they can compete at the weekend, I don't know. On Chelsea, well, from Chelsea, we expect what they've done over the past few years. They are a top team full of world-class players with a great manager. They are champions of Europe. We expect a really competitive match. That's what I expect from our team. Our fans are going to be supporting our team right behind them from the beginning because they have missed so much, and we are going to go out there to win the football match. Let's hope the fighting talk correlates on field. On stopping Lukaku, I don't know if he's going to play, but I have a plan to try to stop what Chelsea do and a plan of what we have to do to win the game. Relation to players with COVID, they've had some tough days. Laka still hasn't trained, so obviously he's not playing. But yeah, they're affected by the virus. Rinison is similar as well. On whether it came from a party, I don't know where it came from, We can guess it came from a week before. We had cases. We had 3 or 4 positives or negatives. When there are positives, we have no clue where it came from, to be fair. And for me, I'd rather us just deal with that. I'd rather us just deal with that. Internally, we don't need to be doing the drama thing. They were at clubbing or they were wherever, they've got it. We deal with it. Most of them are double vaccinated. Others have 1 vaccine. We are trying to encourage them to get vaccinated because they are going to protect themselves, their families, and obviously the environment around the club. But it really is a personal matter. We are trying to guide them, explain the reasons why it is better to do it. But in the end, it's a personal decision, which is true. On his own message to get vaccinated, obviously, yeah, man, if you want to get it, get it. I'm not going to keep reading that out. But if you want to get it, get it. If not, don't, innit? Moving forward, people, again, we just kind of spoke about Ramsdale and Leno. Skipping to on Chelsea and the importance of a result on Sunday. Well, after that defeat, the best way to put things away is to win. Football matches, when you win them, it creates a different context and a different environment, energy around the place. Our focus is to get the best possible performance. Then the result will be a consequence to that. Our main focus has to be that. I can't lie, man. I love the way Arteta has spoken in this press conference, but I'm in wait or see mode because I don't know if that's going to correlate to what I see on the field. It sounds good, but I need to see it correlated on the field, and that can only be a consequence of what we've done this week off the back of Brentford. Have we looked at that Brentford performance? Have we learned from it? I don't know, people. On whether the past week has been one of his biggest challenges since being at Arsenal, I don't think so. But no, I think I've had bigger challenges since I've been here for 18 months. Believe me, a lot of things have happened, and we will look at them with perspective. In maybe not now, because a lot of people will not be interested to analyze what has happened. But in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years time, when we look back, we'll say a sense of a lot is what happened. And, Arteta, hopefully you're here, hopefully you're here to last the duration there, really and truly. On whether he was surprised that our game against Brentford wasn't postponed, yes, I was surprised, but the regulators decided that the best thing to do was play the game. Now, personally, I think they had a duty of care to Arsenal to ensure we can put out a competitive squad if this was it. And obviously, you have to protect both players. We don't know if this is spread further to Arsenal now for obvious reasons. If Arsenal now go and play Brentford, you can see how this would look like a mess and whatnot. There's a serious issue within that regards. On Martin Odegaard, people, on what it will bring and why Joe Willock was sold. We spoke about Martin Odegaard, but then he said, in relation to Joe, he said, well, we've seen Joe here for a long time in different stages of his career, and Joe is a player that we value and like so much. After that spell, obviously his profile changed, his ambitions personally changed. Of course, he wants to play Premier League football, he wants to play regular football, he doesn't want to be a spare part, kind of what he is. And the game time that he needed was different to what we could give him in this moment. Obviously, Xhaka's going to play a lot, Partey's going to play a lot. We just bought Lokonga, Odegaard's playing, Smith Rowe's there. I would have loved Joe to stay, but again, I understand it. We made a decision together to decide the best way for his pathway in his career. After that, we lost Danny and we lost Joe and we didn't have Martin. So in terms of creativity in the team and options in that position, we were really short. You've seen the numbers and what we did after Christmas when Martin was in the team, and when we had people like Emil, the team performed at a completely different level. I think completely different level is overselling it, but fair play. He's someone that we admire, and he's at the age in his career when the potential he still has is immense. Fact. We already went over Ramsdale. On whether we will sign some players, there's still 11 days to go. We still have some things to do. There are going to be players at the moment with the way the squad is set up that are going to be difficult to find game time. So there are things to be done. So obviously Maitland, Nelson, Nketiah, Torreira, potentially Bellerin. Again, these are people you want to see moved on. Of course, you hope Hossam Aouar can arrive. On why there was a delay in reports about Aubameyang and Lacazette having COVID. Again, the club probably could have saved ourselves with just saying, well, it is. You lot all told me it can't be COVID. It's the attitude, it's the this, that, and the players. I told you the man they have COVID. You didn't want to listen. Listen, I am always very direct, and I try to give information that is right. But there are some policies and some medical privacies that I cannot forget. I have to protect the club. I have to protect the individuals, which could have been just speaking within the regulations, could have been just saying it so people wouldn't be disrespectful to question these lots' commitment to their profession, forget the club and saying that there's bust-ups and the rest of it. And I feel, the media have a duty of care. I know they like to speculate and stuff, but again, the media have a duty of care to just not always speculate with things. But anyways, man, he said, for me, it's simple. They have COVID. My best players have COVID. They cannot play. I have to put a team out there that's unprecedented in this league and take all the pressure. For me, it's very simple. I cannot do that. The club will always be in front of me and the individuals if that's what they believe. And we cannot give the right answers in the moment for different reasons. That's why That's what I will keep doing, and I will do it again next time. Fair enough. On if COVID regulations should change, yes. If you know that you have a hamstring injury, you can say, obviously, with permission from the player, that you have a hamstring injury. When you don't know, or you are not sure, or it can be something else, maybe worse, then you have to be really careful what you say, which is also 100% fact. On if high spending this summer adds to the pressure, now I hardly think 100 plus million is big spending, but for us it is. We're told we're broke, and obviously I hope all the signings work out, but there is, if it doesn't, the conversation needs to be had about potential mismanagement of finances between the technical director and the manager. We will see where we finish with the money that we have spent and what we have done in the last few years. We're going to have 7 players that have left the club and 5 that are coming in, so we're not bringing in more players than we already have. It's already a big turnaround again, and we're going to try and do it in the right way so this club is stable. It's a clear indicator of the business that we're doing. The ages are between 21 to 23, and it tells you that the project that we are building, clearly people that can be here for a significant period of time, is what he said. On a difficult start to the season, we knew that from the beginning you have to play 38 games against all teams at the end of the season, and its perception, the pressure, and again the negativity. I just want people that are constructive around me. I know that people have the intention to bury us and try to criticize us, but we are not interested in that. We have a lot of positive and a lot of energy, new energy that is coming up. My full focus is on that and finding a way to beat Chelsea, because we can, because we've done it. Again, siege mentality is trying to make it us against the world, and I don't mind that, because we need that. On his message to fans, just what I described, that in moments when there are people and there is certain negativity around the place, you need your fans and your supporters more than ever. And again, we need to separate constructive criticism and questioning what's going on with negativity. It feels like when you say certain things, you're just negative. If you're just saying things that are not burying the head in the sand, Disney Channel, positive garbage, you're being negative. I don't think that is. There's no reason to be ridiculously positive. There's no reason to be ridiculously negative. And he is right. We need all the support, but the players and the club have to support the fans. The fans will always give it back. You think these fans are not gonna, with everything that's going on, you think these fans at the Emirates on Sunday are not going to be buzzing? But they need to be respected in the same way they give you lot respect and give you lot support. And the players are definitely going to need it in that game. There's always been with the team, and I have no doubt that on Sunday they're going to be right behind them. If there is one thing the team needs, is exactly that. It's down to you. You lot give the fans confidence, the fans will give it back. It's a two-way street. If they really want to help the team, they're not going to be a better medicine for them than to feel the fans very close with the right energy and supporting them and being behind them, and the team is going to try their best. I hope so. One love to Bukayo Saka. He'll obviously get a lovely reception on Sunday. He's played coy in relation to if he will start. On if there is a new energy about the place after completing signings, well, we try to have the most positive energy around the place all the time. I like to always be positive. I love the challenges, and we've had a challenge. I knew we had a challenge a year and a half ago with everything that was coming on. Just embrace it, do the best that we can do every single day, try to create the best possible atmosphere and context around this place, and good things happen. And obviously, he's not going to say anything less than we look up for the game and whatnot. So, positive press conference. I can't really disagree with anything he said. I like a lot of what he said, but again, the time for talking isn't there, man. It's Arteta versus the world, Arsenal versus the world, better yet. I like that. That's something it should be done. Surprised, and he was surprised Brentford game is not cancelled, and I am upon this information as well. Not even capture you. Please make sure we're hitting the like button. I already know the numbers are atrocious, people. He works harder than me. But moving on, what are you lot saying, man? I know there must have been a lot of things you lot were saying. Aubameyang off to City if they don't get Kane incoming. I'm not sure on that, man. I'm not too sure on that at all, man. Zachariah won't be bad either, but Maitland-Niles can do a similar job. I've gone off the Zachariah train, man. I think his passing is a bit too woeful to really bring man in, if I'm completely honest. I still think we should get our Alex. I hope to God we're able to do that, but boy, I don't know, man. Honestly, Saka at right back is what Arsenal should do. Carl, nah. Right wing king, right wing settings, man. Arteta sometimes answers questions, facts. Deluded, why hasn't Arteta implemented a playing style in nearly 2 years yet? Nuno and Tuchel arrived 5 minutes ago and have a playing style. You'd have to take it up with Arteta. I'm looking for the same answer, my dude. Ramsdale is good at long passes. Ben White is good at long passes. All defenders must be ball playing now. Defenders should be best in defense. Well, I'll go on for Torreira DG. Either he's starting or he's getting sold. Has to be one. Too good not to start in this current team. He's probably moved on. You know, there was rumors he wants to stay and all of those sort of things. And then you've obviously now seen rumors that he's going to pattern a move to Italy on loan. He's been linked with Roma. He's been linked with a bunch of other clubs. There's a lot in relation to Torreira. There's a lot of unclearness. Some things are saying he wants to come back and have a chance. He's been told abundantly clear there's no opportunity for such at this club. Some have said he's always made clear he's trying to go to Italy. He's been linked with the Lazio, the Romas, all of these sort of things. So we'll have to see. But, you know, we need to start seeing. You imagine, I hope to see in the next few days, or at least until the window closes, Bellerin, Maitland, Torreira, Nelson, half of these players. Apparently Willian is still going. Whether, you know, and then as we get on, as the market is starting to close and obviously the financial stuff, when are we, you know, the problem is I don't think we're going to see too many permanent signings. I see Torreira going on loan again. You know, I can't see anybody going for Willian permanently, and I hope so. And I think for me, I will take my hat off. I think that's the best bit of business Arteta can, man said Arteta, Edu can do. If he can get Kolasinac and or Willian off this wage bill, I think that, bro, he deserves some Henny. I can't lie, because that's the first real thing I'm looking at Edu and saying, yeah, cool, technical director, you're doing your thing. Obviously, I do think sometimes we're a bit unfair to Edu because, you know, we praise and critique fairly. I think some of the signings you can't help. Man say spend the money wisely, you know, and then they say we've mismanaged. Certain people say stop buying. We need to spend smartly. And when we're bringing in these Gabriels, these Lokongas and things, they're saying we're signing nobodies. We all know there's a section of football fans you can't please. You know, I'm all about critique and praise fairly. You know, again, so far my biggest trick I've seen with Edu, fair play, he got Partey and we made a mess of it. I would actually say Balogun, really. You hear he was big on that, really. And I just want to see a bit more. I want to see a bit more of what Edu's about. Because at least with Arteta, I can say, you know what, he's done a false nine, he's done this. I don't really know what sort of players Edu likes. I don't know his mandate. You don't really see a consistency, because for every Lokonga, there's a Willian, and we've been linked with Willian and people of a similar profile. So I want to learn a lot about Edu. And if I can't, then you already know what needs to happen. What else are you guys saying? Why don't we just sign all of Reading FC and can be done with it? All right, Shawnee. One love, Adrian. Big up from New Zealand, my fellow Jamaican. What a life you're living, New Zealand. Shout out to all the Australians and the New Zealand ones and all similar regions as well. I honestly think once things settle down with the players coming back and they stay fit, we can do a madness this season. Stay safe and much love. Adrian, first things first, love for that. Make sure you and yours stay in good health and everything else. I hope so, but it's down to these players, bro. It's how much they want it. You know, it's about the ability to apply yourself for 38 games. There's no point turning up for Chelsea tomorrow and turning up for City. Man said tomorrow. Turning up for Chelsea this week and maybe even City. If the Norwiches, the Spurses, and etc., you're gonna mess about. Obviously, you can't win them all. Obviously, you make mistakes. Obviously, there's things you can learn, but it's that consistency. You know, ability is part of the problem, but it does. We can sign all the players we have in the world. We could sign the best team. If we're not at it consistently, you know, where are we at? People can talk about we did this since December, if this and that. The table don't lie, man. You know, you can take the positives from that, but the table don't lie. It's all about where you start, where you finish. Everything else in the middle, you know, a lot of things happen, but it doesn't matter. You know, injuries, loss of players, all of these. Granted, we've been dealt a short hand in it. Aubameyang, Lacazette, Partey, Gabriel. The good players, the spine of this team is a madness. You're praying that nothing happens to Tierney, but we have to get on with it. Other people's preseason's been messed up. Other people are dealing with poor financial structures. You know, other people are having the things we deal with. And as much as I feel these cries from Arteta and the club are legitimate concerns, when I look at it on another scale, it does appear that that Arteta and the players were behaving a bit spoiled, because we're saying, woe is me. We've spent 100 million. Granted, it's not enough to make people go, wow, but there's been 100 million. You lot have bought these players. You know, we whine about a lot. I haven't got this, I haven't got that. It feels like a child that has all the toys in the world and ultimately still isn't happy because I ain't got no friends to play with and whatnot, really. And their parents are just overcompensating with them. So I need to see a lot more. But whether I will, it's a completely different one, as you know, my dudes. But it's down to the players, man. I'm done with saying we can do this, we can do that. I think we could make a lot more of a meal of top 4 last season? Yes. Do I think our squad is as bad as people make out? No. Do I think it's as good as certain men make out? No. For me, it's about the mentality. The mentality changes, anything can happen. You know, when your mentality is spot on, there's that degree of overperformance that starts to creep in. You know, have you heard the saying, the harder you work, the luckier you get? Them things there happen. But I don't know how much these boys can apply themselves and consistently. I don't know how much these lot are kept up at night with the fear of failure and being another season, what's been going on, or the fear, you know, having dreams so big it scares them, getting into the top 4, being part of the first Arsenal team to return back into Champions League, or just at least get Europa League, or win a next FA Cup, or just do something of relevance, something that has anything close to a legacy. I don't know how bad these lot want it. You know, I don't know. I know some people, I can see it with Saka, I can see it with Tierney, I can see it with a couple of them. But until I can say that over the whole team, it's a madness. You look at City, there's no some man want it, some man don't. Leicester, some man do, some man don't. They wouldn't be at the club. Everyone from the squad players to the staff to the chairmen, they all want it. And until we start being on that sort of stuff, it's a myth. It's an absolute myth. One love to everybody locked in. 117 likes. 100 of you haven't done the job though, man. Doing the guy dirty. What else are you lot saying? Arsenal spent 130 million this summer, outspent Chelsea, Liverpool, City, Man United. Let's be honest, though. You know, I hear it, but, well, certain man have spent 70 million on one player. And to be honest with you, you know, that kind of shows the different finances. We've had to look after the whole squad. I hear it, but I do think it's a bit unfair to the club. You know, Chelsea have spent 100 million on Romelu Lukaku. To be fair to them, Chelsea have done a madness because they've sold players. They, you know, there was talk on shelling out on Jules Okonde. You know, they were prepared to go for Haaland. You know, United have been linked with Camavinga and a whole bunch of other players. Whether they follow through, Trippier as well, whether they follow through is another thing. You know, we'd have to see. We have spent more, but it's not exactly as blasé as that. City the same, but they spent 100 million on one player. You know, the ballpark isn't the same, and they all have probably better. With, you know what, United are the only ones that could probably debate it, or United fans. And I'm not saying it to say we've got a better squad. The others have significantly better squads. City, everybody would take half of their players. I say half, every player, someone in the Premier League. If you ask all the other fans, would grab them. United, I feel their squad isn't, you know, they need a bit of surgery. I think, you know, something happens to Pogba, Bruno, they're in trouble. I'm pretty sure many United fans know Fred and McTominay can only go so far. Chelsea have a fantastic squad. And to be honest with you, how much money do they need to spend? They want a centre-half, they want a striker. It's facts, though. Arteta has spent money, you know, it's actually more than 130. It's probably touching around 200 when you consider everything. He needs to show something. He actually needs to show at least a building block. I don't think many people expect him to win leagues and things, but he needs to show building blocks. He needs to show that it's money well spent. If you spend hella money in weight rolls and the meal you cook is dead, man are gonna say, why didn't you go Lidl's if you or something? It's something like that. So again, there's a lot to be said. Arteta is waffling, boy. Mazza, innit? Big up yourself, my guy. Dominic Calvert-Lewin from Everton. Bro, you're talking about how much even is Dominic Calvert-Lewin? You're probably looking at some mad fee. Defo more than what Ben White is confirmed. DG glowing, you know. Trying, my guy, trying, you know. Can't lie, United squad is head and shoulders above us. Is it though? When you deep it, you know, I'm not saying I don't think Arsenal's better. I'm just saying they need to rebuild as well. So I think it's a bit harsh, you know, and it's almost less of an excuse for Arteta, is what I'm saying. They've got the front options, but then when you look past it, is it? Yeah, Varane's lifted it a level, but you know, I'm big up Shaw, big up Wan-Bissaka in that. Something happens to a couple of them. What is the lot gonna do the job? If something happens to Shaw, who's the left back? Varane and Maguire is probably their first choice centre half. Something happens there. I know they've got De Gea and Henderson, but like, I was just saying in comparison to the clubs named, you know, as to why the P's aren't being spent. Arteta left Torreira out of his plans in favour of El Nene. I think that one's a bit harsh. It's not the situation isn't the same. When you look at it on that logic and say, yeah, I can hear that. Why Torreira's a better footballer, but Torreira's just making a bag of noise. El Nene's just going to be a sideman. Again, I would want Torreira to play, but if he doesn't see him as part of his squad, I understand why he'd want to be moved on. And, you know, El Nene at least shuts up. Torreira's just been chatting and chatting and chatting, so I can understand it. And really, we might even struggle to get rid of El Nene. He's been linked with Besiktas. Apparently, they're on buying him / getting him on loan and paying his wages. Certain people have come out and quashed those rumours. There's talk of even Kollagen that's cancelling his deal as well. These are things that you've seen all summer. Like, El Nene's probably going to be here for another year and whatnot and things like that. So I think it's a bit harsh when people look at it like that because it's not as basic as that. But at the same time, I'd rather Torreira in my squad than El Nene. Again, it's probably down to the commitment thing, which I get. Aouar and Aaron's. If we sign Aouar and a right back, Arsenal will be a top 4 contender. I think regardless of who we sign, I don't. The mentality, man, for me. When I see the mentality pattern, I think we could do a lot. But well, when I say a lot, you know what I mean, man. Of course, I'd take Ndombele, but for obvious reasons, he's not coming, is he? Number 11 is still vacant too. Well, ain't Torreira still technically got that? I just hope the business isn't done. We need players to go, but we still need a right back and an 8. I keep thinking Mesut Ozil. Odegaard getting the 8 makes me a bit worried. I don't mind if Odegaard's going to become the 8. I can't lie to you, but like I said, I more want and you said better, yeah, I more want the normal sort of thing, man. The normal, just people that play in their roles rather than have to do all of that. Wan-Bissaka's going to jail. I hope not. I don't wish jail on no one. What's he done? He's a footballer. He ain't doing nothing bad. Why is that? So Mazzo. I'm not very optimistic about the season. I genuinely don't want us to finish. I genuinely just want us to finish above Spurs. I can't deal with that lot running their mouths after one game. I can't lie. I almost read that wrong and thought you didn't want us to finish above Spurs. You was about to hold the block, but again, this is why comprehension is crucial. You know, listen, bro. I remember Arsenal fans used to get mocked for Spurs fans used to mock Arsenal for finishing 4th. We used to take that. A lot of things I used to take for granted. 4th, finishing above them, playing good football. But I take a lot back in a heartbeat still. I'll take a lot back still, man. Don't remind me, man. Real fall from grace. But it's been coming. We didn't get here overnight. Playing squad, the way the club is being spoken of, the way we've been performing in the leagues, you know, the mentality, you know, the culture. None of this changed overnight. Same way, none of it is going to change positively overnight. We can make that first step and say enough's enough, but we're not going to have a squad, a manager, a club that reflects everything. It's a process. Look at Leicester. Don't forget, Leicester have been relegated and all them things there, and now they're back. Let's be real. You know, there's things to go on. Fulham, Wolves the same. Clearly, something has changed. Really, you know, a lot of people are praising West Ham. Let's see, you know, because I know West Ham fans don't trust them owners. So we're going to have to see what happens. Really going to have to see what happens. Away from that, though, and yeah, man, obviously, I think they're just trying to get fans excited still, folks. But we can see a couple of transfer stuff and all of those sort of things. If my screen will actually change. Arsenal have been busy in the transfer market this week, but they may not be done yet. Despite being on the verge of signing Odegaard, obviously we've signed him. We've signed Ramsdale. Apparently, there's still room for one more. Although there was no mention of who the Gunners are interested in, reports claim they will try and complete the deal before the transfer window. So that probably means Arsenal's going to bring in a winger. If I'm completely honest with you, but hopefully we don't. But you get the point. So we might be on to something, people. You know, we might be onto something. Obviously, we brought in a couple of scouts as well. I haven't done a video on that. If you was to look here, when you look at ESPN, people, obviously they're kind of just following on what we already know, that the dressing room in Lyon is quite fractured. A lot of players are led to be on the transfer list. If Ryan Cherky's on the transfer list, you got to grab him. You also have to grab Hossam Aouar. Apparently, there's been no suggestion those players are available to leave because of what happened with them last week. Obviously, they've started poor with a draw in the defeat. Apparently, you know, their gaffer's unhappy. It doesn't seem good there, people. Apparently, Arsenal expect Ramsdale to take Leno's number 1. Arsenal's decision to commit 30 million on Sheffield United goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale has surprised many, but senior figures at the club are increasingly believe this will be Leno's final season in North London. Obviously, if he's not going to sign a new deal, really and truly. So, yeah, as you lot know, his contract expires in 2023. So, yeah, apparently no final decision has been taken on Leno's future, but Arteta pushed hard to sign Ramsdale, overcoming resistance from Sheffield United, who were originally holding out for 40 million before accepting a lower fee, with the player desperate to join the Gunners, man. Hurrah, Spurs are going to keep faith in Winks. Good luck to them with that one. Well, that's the same thing we read about Arteta and the critics, you know, Arteta versus the world. So it is what it is in that regards, people. One more signing. And I want the Owl, I want Kakare, I want someone, man. You know, again, if we get a right back, I say, all right, cool. You know what? not a window where we signed a wow player, but we have improved we've altered the squad. I don't know if it's improved, but I think only time will tell. But the Ramsdales, etc., I think they can grow to be in important roles. Allegedly, Pulisic won't play any part of the game against Arsenal, Chelsea. Obviously, sadly, he's got COVID as well. And again, we wish him the best of health. And it's scary territory, man, with this COVID business, because I don't think we've seen it shut up yet, people. I also saw an interesting article on the Telegraph, and I didn't click off this page because I know they like making you trying to pay for these things, but it looks like it's a free article. And I was reading, and I thought maybe it could shed some light on stuff. Because again, we act like we know transfers. We don't really know transfers. We're not transfer people. We're fans. How can Arsenal afford a 125 million transfer fee? What do new signings tell us about the future? We all know these are long-term additions. Scrolling over people, we know what Arteta has said. Apparently, the size of Arsenal's investments in these young players is indicative of Arteta's faith in his new faces. This is especially the case for White and Odegaard, who are expected to instantly improve the starting lineup as well as develop into world-class footballers in their own right over the coming years. Hopefully, whether Arteta is going to see the fruits of his labor is a different thing. But apparently the outlays are also a reflection of the club's ongoing trust in Arteta. Make no mistake, these are considerable figures for a team in Arsenal's perilous financial situation. Hopefully I said that word correctly. The club's account showed a loss of 47.8 million. Least we forget, and in the last year, they made more than 50 redundancies. And obviously, after finishing 8th last season, there was no European football to bolster our bank balance. We've taken out loans and all those sort of things. So for the club that operates within a self-sustaining model, where is the money coming from? In part, this summer spending has been made possible by the financial guarantees provided by club owners, Kroenke Sports and Entertainment. Josh Kroenke, the Sun, made it clear following the Super League debacle that financial support would be offered. Similar messages were given to staff on company-wide calls in the spring. There are other factors at play. Arsenal took out a bank loan towards the end of last season in order to repay the short-term 120 million loan they had taken from the Bank of England to help them cope with the financial impact of the pandemic. It is understood the second loan has allowed them to spend more freely than otherwise would have been possible. As we know, we've sold Joe Willock, fans have returned in, so we're going to see, because of the footfall and the seats on bums, fans this season are going to probably positively be reflected in our bank balance, so we're going to get some money. Obviously, we got 18 million off the wage bill a year with the departure of, you can see the names, Mustafi, Socrates, etc. So it is what it is. We just spoke about Arteta speaking about stability financially and how people can improve. And obviously the article speaking about Ben White. In the last 5 years, only Manchester United and Manchester City have a greater net spend on transfers than Arsenal. So it is little wonder what Arteta and Edu, the technical director, want to try a new approach. The opponents on Sunday, by contrast, are in a position where they're able to sign ready-made superstars. Lukaku, obviously, 97.5. The success at senior and youth level also means there's more interest in their youngsters. Exactly as you saw, Gohe was sold for 20 million. Nobody's done anything for Eddie and Nketiah, but that's not an Arsenal thing. You went on loan and didn't do anything. Brewster, a lot of people use the Brewster example, the Tammy example. Them man have suitable records within football. At least Brewster can say, I did a little 1-2 things for Swansea, which is why Sheffield paid. Tammy done the business at Villa, at Bristol. Eddie went Leeds. It didn't bang. Eddie's called a fox in the box. He doesn't have it. So there must be some sort of better things we can do in terms of the loan system, because Chelsea have made 100 million off a lot of loan players. And, who knows, the Loftus Cheeks, and there might be a couple more. And they've just spent 97 million, yes, on a player that they previously had as a kid, more or less, bought from Anderlecht. But you get the point. When you're proactive as a football club across some aspects, you can control your destiny. When you're reactive, but having to sell someone where in his heart, Arteta probably didn't want to sell in Joe Willock, but he's probably one of the only assets people want to look at. Our assets are either poor players on inflated contracts or they're just not level. So I hope we can do a thing for our and all these things, but we'll have to see what can happen, man. I think it's going to be a right back and done, if I'm completely honest. So it is what it is. James Rodriguez should come to Arsenal. Nah. Rather Torreira than El Nene, so would I. But I don't have to question. I can question El Nene's ability. I don't want to question his commitment. I have to question Arteta's. I mean, man said commitment. El Nene's commitment. Dunk made Ben White look good. I think the system complemented Ben White, but I think it's a bit harsh to assume one player is making man look good. You know, he has some quality, but he's coming into a team that's very naive defensively. There's an issue in that regard. What is that poll? It's a poll with a question, isn't it? Not too sure what you're on. You lot chatting about Torreira. Go watch his Insta story. Might have thrown a spanner in the works. Yeah, it could be. I hope he gets a chance, but I think it's a thing where he's just training, bro. He's just training at the club and doing what he's contractually obliged to until his future is sorted, like a lot of them. And if you are going, you know, if your season's going to start wherever you're going to be, you might as well be in training. Be in the best physical condition. You know, if you can prove Arteta right, wrong, sorry, or if you can and get a look in, or you go elsewhere. Need a right back ASAP, but I will say that's like that a centre mid that's like a Santi type, because we can hide people in that right back position. It's a difficult one, man. What's your score prediction for Sunday? 3-4, 5-1 Chelsea. I hope to be wrong. You know, ask me again tomorrow/Sunday, but I'd say that, man. Think Lukaku will start. Look, on one hand, I think he might be on the bench, man. But I'd start him if I'm Chelsea. I don't know. We just need to be prepared. For me, we just need to do this back three thing. Be humble, back three, damage limitation, see where that takes us, man, and then move from that point, if I'm completely honest with you. Other than that, boy, could get peak. Pardon me. Someone asked my opinions on Odegaard. Good player. I'm keen to see what he can offer, you know. Keen to see how he grows and develops, because, you know, it's over now. You're at Arsenal now. Go and do your job. Shout out to Kai Havertz. Apparently, people, he donated 200 euros of his 200,000 euros to, I believe, a charity in need with a good cause. I just see online. So big up to him. I think Ben White will come good, but in the right system. We cannot have two players that is too nice as defenders. I mean, that's where the culture's got to change. I mean, for Ben White, I'll look to my left. You see Marie on foolishness. Chambers look like he's on foolishness. You got a headless chicken in Leno. Don't know what your midfield's doing. We don't defend properly from the front. Everyone's going to look like a square peg in a round hole. Same way, like it's almost like I hope the club have learned from in signing Ben White. They've learned with Gabriel. You know, you've got a defender that needs to develop a system. You've got a partnership, make it work. Of course, there's going to be teething problems and all of those sort of things. But yeah, man, our whole culture in relation to defending. Why do you think you don't see any certified centre halves come for our academy? We have neglected the art of defending for years. You know, half the defenders that have come through our academies, accidental dons. You know, you can say Maitland-Niles didn't come through as a right back. He's been there. You know, Bellerin, you come from Barcelona as a winger, you switched it up and went right back and you're clear. Gibbs was playing a bit further forward as well. Even Ashley Cole at a point, you know, until we change our whole emphasis, that's why you only see certain man. Oh, it is. Well, that's what I believe anyways. I see a super chat. One love to Wesley. Whatever you said. In your opinion, when can we stop calling it a project and start calling it a plan? Surely to have a project is a plan. And to have a plan is to have a project. So I don't think it's ever changed. It surely is a plan. You know, the project is clearly to find younger players that can grow, help us in the short term / medium and grow long term. That is a plan. That is your project. So it stays the same, really, you know. Appreciate the super chat, my bro. Does Odegaard suit your style of play? When Arteta gets sacked, it could be peak for the next manager. That's why planning is important. I mean, to be fair, half of the squad, you know what? It doesn't matter who the manager is. Obviously, if it's a defensive manager, it's a problem. But if it's a manager that, or maybe move away from names, if it's a manager that does what we'd expect at Arsenal, you know, attacking bits of play, you know, third man runs, 1-2s, round the corner, down the alleys, all of these things, yeah, it shouldn't matter. And you should be able to play with Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, all of these sort of things. Of course, managers are thingies. What I would say to that is, what is our style of play? How can you shoot something you don't know what it is? But I think he does. You know, what I want to see is a mandate. Arsenal should always want to play thinking football. And Odegaard's one of those players, and I'd think a manager would like him because I think his pressing metrics are very good, what people don't look at. His pressing metrics are very good. You know, the distance he covers is very good. You know, these sort of things will make him a good player, as well as obviously the technical quality. For me, goals and assists, more importantly than that, when I look at my team, I need to see that you want a ball, that you want to make the difference. I'm not expecting you to do it alone, but I just feel too many of these creative players, they've not been on it. They've not really wanted the ball. When the sun is shining and the other team's playing even more rubbish than us, everyone's on it. But I want to see people set levels, you know. For me, when we're going Burnley at home or Burnley away, when we're playing Crystal Palace, because I think we were lucky to beat them on our last game of the season and we couldn't break them down in the first game. I need to see a lot of things from a tactical point of view, but I need to see people that want to make a difference. Too many times I'm seeing people pass the ball to people. They don't want to take responsibility. I'm not saying everyone needs to bang it from 30 yards, but it seems like everybody just passes the buck, waiting for a Saka. You know, typically at a point, it was Aubameyang and Tini, you know, and all of these sort of things. So, yeah, that is what I'm saying. Good question, though, man. But to play devil's advocate, what system, though? You can't fix that if you can't see it, man. Why don't you put a timer on your watch alongs? I do when they're on Twitch. Allow me, bro. I'll try to do one for the Arsenal one. But the problem is when I'm using OBS, I don't know what it is, but I can't bring up you lot's questions. So that's why for the Arsenal one, I'd pick you lot's questions and interactiveness over the scoreline. If there's a way to marry them all together, shout to Skyter, because we've been trying to, Skyter Rush, one of the moderators, we've been trying to get around that and find a resolution. But yeah, man, if a man can help me with that, we'll get that going, my guy, man. I don't know, man. I'd rather a manager that I don't even know, man. I'd rather a manager that I don't know, bro. I would love Conte and all these names. I'd rather a manager I don't know, man. Go and get me someone that's managed Atalanta or Swallow and played good football, man. I don't know. I really don't know. DG, do you feel like there's light at the end of the tunnel after all this upheaval over the years? I feel there can be light, but it feels like we're walking down a tunnel and certain man want to go, certain man can see the light, certain people are just scared, that they're so scared they just want to stay in the middle of the tunnel, they don't want to go forward for fear of what could happen. Certain people just got left at the front, they, you know, I don't know what's happening to them. Some mad boogeyman's probably ate them and killed them and whatever. Certain man we're not all on the same page, a collective army trying to go through that tunnel. So there is light, but people need to want to turn on the flashlight and actually want to move forward. You know, we can't look back and let the only, you know, we learn our mistakes from the past, but we've got to move forward. So I'm not sure, man. It's down to them. You know, you can bring people to the fountain. They have to want to drink. Some people want to drink. Certain people are questioning it. Is you know, what's the pH level of the water? You know, certain people are saying, oh, haven't you got any fizzy drink? And all of these sort of things. So I think as much as I say Arteta needs to show a system and all of these sort of things, I think there's a lot of things these players need to arrest in and amongst themselves if we are going to get anywhere collectively as a squad and as a football club in the way that us fans want. So yeah, man, that's where I'm at with that one, if I'm completely honest. Please make sure we're hitting the like button. What's your thoughts on possibly playing Tavares at right back? He's 2-footed and surely better than Bellerin. Bro, for me, lock down left back first, then we can have all of that. If he has to do it, if there's injuries and whatnot, why not? But it's another one that we might be at, yeah, he can do the job. You know, is he going to be a 38-game right back? I've never seen him play right back at Arsenal apart from when he came off the bench. I'd say no. Lock down your left back stuff. If we need you, do your thing. But nah, man, you might. That's the same sort of. For me, it's the same old stuff we've got with Maitland-Niles and Chambers. There's going to be games he's going to look awkward on that side. You know, his strengths are going forward. I don't know how strong you are defensively on your favoured side, much less that. And then obviously for me, whoever the partner is, we need the right back. There needs to be a consistent right back to allow that relationship to build between Ben White and the right back. What people don't talk about is sometimes when our right backs do go forward, there's space within that channels. You know, they need to be able to talk. All right, boom, I'm making the run. Like on Sunday League, how many of you are fullbacks? I'm a fullback. I play left back. H plays on the left-hand side. All right, bro, not going to lie to you. One love for the defending thing, but you saw the goal I always put in my intros. I'm trying to fly forward, my bro. He will say, listen, brother, it's not one of them ones now. You know, you got to stay back in that or go forward. Then you might chat to his centre mid. Come and pull over that space that DG's left. DG still got to get back though. You still got to you still got to do your thing. But relationships are being built. Now, if you consider that between fullback and centre half, the two centre halves, actually fullback and fullback, when one goes, do both of you go or does one stay? How does the midfield, the midfield has seen a right back or a left back go depending on that side. Who fills in, the strikers, because what I don't see enough at Arsenal is it might not be your job in it. But when you look at all them other teams, you might see a left back just closing something down on the right wing, just closing it down. They're the nearest person, just dealing with it. Sometimes it feels like, it's not my job. I don't really need to do that. Sort of thing. And until we change these attitudes, and these are a lot of things, as I said, the players can arrest among themselves. There's only so much. I don't even think there's much we need to do tactically. And don't underestimate how much this team needs to improve left back. I mean, in terms of defensively and everything else. Who said something about a left back that took my attention? One love to you lot, man. Appreciate all of you lot support for the content and whatnot, people. And like you said as well, like we spoke, you was there. We were speaking about it earlier. We know. We all think Odegaard. We're not buying him to make a right back shine, but we all know he's gonna pull over to that right hand side. So, like what we've spoken about, if you arrest that, then obviously you've got Odegaard helping out. Suddenly, we're not just looking at the left-hand side for creativity. We should look like we can score a goal all over this field. And we're not at this moment. Teams clock it. If it's not Saka, if it's not Smith Rowe, if it's not the flying Scotsman down the left-hand side, if it's not Aubameyang, then we're up against it. And I just feel tactically, through our bad habits, how we're set up tactically, we kind of defeat our mentality. We defeat ourselves and put some mitigating factors that mean we're not able to win way before you talk about the opposition. Like, take nothing away from Brentford, for example. I'm sure we could all sit here. There's a bag of things wrong with how we played and what we was doing way before we could talk about Brentford. And we shouldn't. We should be, anytime we lose, we should be able to say, listen, all right, cool. You know what? They're the better team. They're on this thing and whatnot. But yeah, man. It's an interesting way of looking at things, man. I'm loving the way you lot are looking at things. I have a feeling that we won't perform with Arteta as manager. Whoever we get, not excited with any signings anymore. Alexander, I hope they can prove you wrong. And, I want to see players stand up for themselves, man. Football is at a point, leagues need salary caps. I don't agree with salary caps in life, so I'm never going to agree with that one. But I hear you, bro. DG breaks it down and see it how I see it. This team won't surprise me to go on and beat Chelsea this week or City, then lose to Norwich. And again, it's about football's mad. That's what we love about the Premier League. That's how mad football is. But these things happen too often, way too often. Big up to you, DG. To play devil's advocate, Aubameyang is our guy, but are we not genuinely seeing someone past his best and on a decline? Should we not look for fresh blood or wait it out? Bro, Aubameyang's not getting any younger. The minute he signed a new deal, we should have been looking for that long-term striker. That's what big clubs do. It won't surprise me if when Vardy leaves Leicester, they already know who's coming in, Again, it wouldn't surprise me. Again, he's 28 or something, so there's no beef with it. But if Chelsea are not thinking, what happens here? Or they're already helping themselves. They let Tammy go. They say, you know what? Sell on close, buy back. Because something might happen. We might be doing this. We heard Chelsea were looking at Haaland. So, again, you've got to be able to fix things before you fix things. There's probably young little strikers at Chelsea that might go on and do a thing as well. So, we should have been looking at one. We should be scouting at Isaac from the year Aubameyang signed the deal to next season to this year. We should. For me, declining doesn't always mean you're a bad player. I think we're at the stage now where Aubameyang should just be a striker. He shouldn't be do a thing on the left-hand side. I'm not saying he can never play there. There's times you need that. But playing through the middle, make this team mad creative, and this guy will finish chances. Same way Chelsea just want Lukaku to score. Now, I know Tuchel said back to goal, we need someone who can do that. But Chelsea's main problem is there's hella food being prepared in the kitchen. No one wants to eat. Lukaku will eat that. Werner didn't want to eat. A couple of their players don't want to eat. I think Aubameyang will eat. He's an inbox specialist. Give him some chances, and we need to recognize this. And we should have known that Aubameyang is declining and how we can use him. And for me, we need to. City's the best example for obvious reasons. We're not City, but you could see they weren't reliant on a 30-odd-year-old Aguero, right? Through obvious reasons, the system is still there. You bring a striker like Kane, it's next level, but it's not reliant on them. And I just feel when players get to a certain stage, you shouldn't be reliant on them. Same way we was reliant on a Pastic Koscielny, we was reliant on a David Luiz. David Luiz is gone. I'm not going to sit here and cap from vocal point of view and leader and all them things there. I know it's only one game. You could say, boy, you can kind of see the void he's left, like whether we should be in a position to say that or not. Please make sure you're hitting the like button also as well, people. 163. We're going all right in terms of likes. Let's keep moving, folks. Tana said, big up from Tacoma, Washington. One love. Never heard of that place in my life, Tane, but appreciate that. Mad respect for YouTube's N'Golo Kante, 40K and beyond, my guy. One love for that, man. Things like that make it worth it, man. Playing Aubameyang and Lacazette is a catastrophe. It won't work, and every team knows this. Play either Laka or Aubameyang up front. What a miss of Pepe or Saka up front. I don't think, I'd rather Pepe do the false nine than Saka, but that's where I agree with you as well, Kareem. I believe they can play together, but I just feel right now, while everybody's form is messing about and stuff, let's just go with one. I feel it unbalances it. I think Aubameyang will still score 30 goals, but declining doesn't always mean past it and you're not good anymore. Everybody's declining, bro. How many of you, you look at yourself at 16 to now, you might be better at some things or worse. You might struggle to recover, Things are changing, Some of you are getting slower. Some of you get stronger. People decline all the time. I don't think Aubameyang is finished. I think he has declined. I think there's legit question marks over how Aubameyang has performed, but I look at the chances, they're meaty. Like, even Balogun had a rubbish game against Brentford for his own back. But look how many touches, bro. Our strikers are just running about. They're not in the game because we ain't got a midfield, because inconsistent playing out from the back and shit distribution from keepers and all of these things. Almost spilt the water there. But that's how I believe. That's what I believe anyways, man. You lot keep saying some good things, man. So I have to keep upgrading the timestamps and whatnot. Trust me, Ian. Win, lose, or draw, AFC for life. But we need to see these players put on the line and the fans will back up. The players need to back themselves. I don't see players backing themselves. I always say it. Yeah, you're right. Fans, club, all this manager, all these things you need to play for that. But I don't see them man playing for themselves, bro. They don't play for themselves. So it's a myth. Everything else a myth. Make sure you run up the likes. Saka right back and Tini left. Nah, man, I need Saka further forward. I can't lie, he could do the job, but nah. To be fair, Xhaka does put in a shift covering that left-hand side, if I'm honest with you. DG, I missed the outdoor streams when you were just hanging on park benches. So happy for your success so far. I know it's just a start. Martin, appreciative of that. Might bring it back for the culture. Why not, man? Oh, man. Interesting comments, man. We need a right back instead of Bellerin and someone who can link the midfield with the attack better than Xhaka. You know that, I know that, but Arteta never wanted to upgrade on Xhaka. Let's be honest, bro, because you would have done it anyways. You would have brought in that midfielder whose levels and told Xhaka, listen, cool, you wanted to go Roma, it didn't work out, but this is what's going on now. You're not the guy like that anymore. You can still be part of my team. You can still be an important part, but he's not. That tells me you're betting on him. You reckon he's a big part to your success. I hope he can do the thing. Big up, G. With the 127 million spent, surely we could have got game winners like Maddison, Auer, etc. Auer, yeah, Maddison is a match winner, but man might have sat there and said, let's be real. I'm not saying you, but everyone crying for Maddison and that, some of them would have sat here and said, certain people would have said, oh, you know what, I got it wrong. But certain people that were banging on the Maddison and say, oh, the club's not got any ambition. Why are they not spending 70 on him? They would have said they've overpaid. Then, if Odegaard was doing the business at Real Madrid, you know how things are, Such is life. If Odegaard struggles and Maddison's doing his thing in the World Cup, people going to say, boy, maybe, it was worth spending the extra 30, 40. This is the problem. It's like with Ramsdale, 30 million is either going to look real cheap or real expensive. And it's down to the players in the club. You write whatever narrative you want. It's down to them to block out the noise. You write whatever narrative you want. There's always an option in life. There's always a choice, no matter how peaky it looks. And these players have got to want to do that. Bring back DG doing streams on lunch break. Wait, the humble beginnings, man. Shout out to all the ones that were here. Tottenham Court Road, random blocks and roads in Camden, random places in Central, random alleyways in Central. Sounds a bit spooky. Shout out to everyone, man. I remember when they were the best days, really. Not even on half time, they weren't even lunch breaks, man. Just sneak out the office quickly. Let me get my phone in the spare. Like quickly, like, shh. Yo, people, deleted, blah, 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 and then come back, people. Really and truly. And then just quickly take out the memory card out the thingy. What do you call it? The memory card out the camera, and then quickly slap this into to my computer, cover it so no one can see what I'm doing, and just upload it on the slide. Have a little document up, like and the spreadsheet up. DG, well, when you finish, CJ, when you finish with that, it's coming, man. I'm just, I got one, two things. I just gotta go over it again. I'm waiting on the email, bro. You know how much I used to gas it, sir. Oh, one love to everyone that was there for the grind, bro. Man said beefing random pitches, bro. You lot are not gonna allow me, man. You gotta hustle, man. You gotta hustle. Bro, you and Big C, I can't call the next man Big, but Curtis, pause, should do a watch along together. That would be lit. Why not, man? Big up DG. Do you think Odegaard should have gotten the number 10 instead of Smith Rowe? Well, I mean, Smith Rowe to me looks more like a number 8. Odegaard looks more like a number 10, but fair play. Maybe we didn't know Odegaard was going to return to the club. Me personally, I don't really care for the numbers. I know, you should, but I just, bro, if you're doing the job, you're doing the job, innit? I've seen Gallas hold this number 10 for my club. That's when I stopped taking it in. Bring back DG in the shirt. Bro, FM streams. If we get to cup final shirts, business. He wanted Locatelli to replace Xhaka, and Roma couldn't find enough coins behind the couch. To play devil's advocate, they're linked with TORREIRA on loan. They've somehow found bread for Tammy. Maybe they just didn't deem it was worth it. Maybe they're waiting for Xhaka to go on sell. Hey, G, the PT, bro. He said when the nitty threatened my safety. I remember that. Shout out the nitties, man. I was walking to Tesco's. One asked me the time, man. I feel sad looking at them, like just crushed souls and mad lives. But yeah, man. I really think we need a young, hungry striker, and a right back is needed badly. Awa would be the 8, and then Odie would be the 10, rotating with Smith Rowe. Well, we knew Locatelli was never coming. That was dream chasing. If Juventus said fuck that, then we might have had a chance. There's more quality now in midfield. Fair play. Bro, fans can be very fickle sometimes, bro. Me included. Big up yourself. You need to take us back down memory lane, bro. Street 5. Why not, man? Don't forget who is Roma's coach. Bro, I hear that, and that's what I'm saying. In this, Xhaka sexuals will tell you, oh my God, he's underrated. Watch when Arsenal want to sell him. Do you know how many teams are interested? And he had an okay season in comparison to some of his midfield compatriots. He had a very good Euros. Despite all of that, you telling me we heard Roma, we wanted 20, Roma offering like 18. You telling me for a player that good and who your new manager Jose's wanted for however many long from what day? You telling me you can't find a little 2 million quid to find him if he's going to provide that value? Bearing in mind he's not the youngest, but he's not the oldest, and the way Italians play anyways in the league is we all say it's tailored to his strengths. Playing in the Italian league anyways, surely, in my opinion, boosts your playing career by at least 2, 3, 4 years anyway. So despite all of that, and dyeing his hair blonde, bro, man, I didn't want to pay the fees, did it? So, boy, leave you lot to deal with that one, man. Should the question have an and instead of a or? I don't know, man. When do the FM streams come to YouTube? This bum can't support you on Twitch. What? I don't know about them thing there, but anyways, you can follow on Twitch. You don't have to subscribe, but it is on YouTube, bro. Literally, you lot don't get as much love with the FM content as much as the Twitch can, but I do upload them onto YouTube. They're on YouTube now, my dude. I should really make a playlist and just say FM, but they're there, man. How much can we get for TORREIRA? TORREIRA's value's falling off a cliff, man. Realistically, I think you should be at least able to get 30 for him. But the way he's playing, bro, you have to hold a 15, 20 million euros and just put on the sell-on clause. His value's on the floor, bro. Like, to be fair, blonde Xhaka was prime Xhaka, and still no one wanted to pay 20 million euros. Where do you think we'll finish this season, bro? Until I see a change of mentality, it's gonna be more of the same, innit? And I want to be wrong, but I don't pride myself on lying to you. Look, as I always say, if the sun is shining, I'm not gonna tell you it's raining. If I think it's raining outside, I'm not gonna tell you it's sunny. What am I gonna do that for? Well, there's 300 odd of you here, and there's only 186 likes. Make sure you're doing up the like button, people, and you're subscribed on YouTube as well as Twitch, and you're following on Twitch. 15 million. The FM content's uploaded on YouTube but streamed on Twitch. Exactly. Don't miss out. Many blessings right back at you, Tommy Gunn. Torreira, funny enough, is a Jose type player. I mean, I thought Torreira was a Simeone sort of player. I thought, you know what? And I wanted it to happen. I wanted Torreira. I'm Torreira FC. I was like, yo, listen. He spoke about whether it's him or his family, they couldn't adapt to England. The man, they're in Spain now. They understand the language. Uruguay, Argentine, South American spirit, hella Argentine man at Atletico, other South American people, you know, couldn't have, away from the nationality, the way Simeone plays, the way his system plays, you could not have found a better match make in terms of collectively and individually for Torreira. They're playing Champions League and all of these sort of things. I thought, you know what? They were going to be lit. For some reason, it's not worked. And now, that's where I have to look at Torreira. I thought Emre was moving mad. But why did Emre switch it up? Was it just him moving mad or was there something there? Arteta used you initially. Why did he rub you out? I can't remember where Lombard was at with you. Why hasn't Arteta used you? Forget Arsenal. Why are you going off to Simeone and it ain't happened? You know, suddenly you have to start looking at, for me, I start looking at, is it the player then? Because everyone can't be wrong. There's bare different managers. Fair enough. You get them you get them situations where it's just a manager thing. Certain managers don't rate you. It is what it is. But suddenly, that's about 3-4 names I said. When you're looking iffy under all of them, you know, and nobody's bought you at this moment in time, despite the fact you was whoring yourself out. Oh, I want to go Italy. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I want to do the third. There has to be something wrong in that regard. So we'll have to see what happens, man. Arteta dropped him because he refused to pay. I don't know about none of that. Appreciate you, Benjamin. Shout out to Rongans as well, man. Unfortunately, I won't be playing on Sunday because we kick off at 2 p.m. in Northwest and we play at 4:30, so it's not gonna work. But shout out to me though, in case you lot forget goal of the season and that, you know, for last year. I'm trying to win that next year as well. You mean, you know, my thing. But anyways, moving away from that, one love to everybody locked in. I always click like and share once DG is live. It's a must. Carl, I appreciate that. Laka needs to go. I'm not going to lie, he does because of the contract and the wages, but I can't lie. Based on what he gives us and the option in the squad, you know, it's not the Lacazette we thought we was getting and it's not worth 50 million, but I do think we're going to miss it. You see how he played against Sheffield? I'm all for Balogun and Martinelli getting opportunities, but they're not physically able to exert themselves yet. So you get games where they struggle physically, like against Brentford. Sorry, not Sheffield. Or Martinelli, who played well last season when whenever we played West Brom, and I think Willian scored a free kick, Martinelli struggled through the middle. He had a good game, but he struggled. That's nothing. I'm not criticizing them. It's a learning curve. But for me, sometimes you just need that experienced man. Like, them man are trying to physically, you know, shoulder him. He's doing it back sort of thing. We need a bit of that. And that can also make the younger players thrive as well. Equally, we've seen these players available and struggled. DG, can you play right back for Arsenal? Why not, man? I would love it, man. Pedro Neto's not fit and he won't be about until February. So even if we could afford him, which I don't think we'd go for, it's a myth. William Carvalho is better than Xhaka, in my opinion. Fair enough, broski. Are we ever going to see you on AFTV again? Missed the way you always kept it real, Kareem. Never say never, but it's not looking likely, is it? It's not looking likely. Man, they are not calling my phone. So it's not looking likely, man. Is Norton Coffee good enough to take the step up? Not right now, no. He's a second-year scholar. He's not going to be ready. Like, if all the variables are here, he keeps developing. I truly believe in Brooke Norton Coffee. Same way I believe in Charlie Patino and Amari Hutchinson in particular. And there's obviously a couple of other players here and there. Kiddo could be a player as well. Whether they can make it, Tyrese, you know, Balogun, these players should be either progressing to the first team or making real cash for the club. Time will tell. We can get you on AFTV, DG. I mean, bro, man, I'm not picking to be nowhere. I'm happy with what I'm doing, but fair enough. I respect it. Do you take lower euros to move players on and insert sale on clauses, or do you stand firm on your valuation? Everyone knows who we're looking to shift. In my opinion, get them off the books and bring in one or two. I hear some of them are just begging them to go in it. Like, for me, I would have probably let Xhaka go, but away from my opinion, I can understand the club standing firm, because people can't. Again, another one. People can't say, "Oh, Arsenal spend cheap. Arsenal are poor negotiators," and when they stand firm in their valuation, criticize them. I would have probably moved a lot of these players on, because I don't think when you've got a Joe Willock, then I'm on that. Like, them man are saying 25, we're saying 30, or fuck off sort of thing. Pardon my language. I'm on that. When we've got players that we're begging to go, you know, I'm not. If I say give me 2 million for Willian and you say give me 50p, I'll be like, you know what? I'll buy a KA. In fact, give me 60s. I can buy a KA or something, because inflation and them things there. But I understand it, man. I mean, I will say the club must know what they're doing, man. Which position do you think is more important for us to sign right now? Right back / centre mid, I think is same level business. I agree. I take 15 for TORREIRA. Then if we get 15 for Eddie and maybe 15 for Maitland, I can't lie, I need about 20 for Maitland. The variables, you don't have to pay it all up front. For me, it's just pattern the sell-on clauses, man. Just pattern the sell-on clauses. The sell-on clauses are there. It's fine, innit? That's how you make your bread, man. Look at Jadon. Obviously, Jadon Sancho should have made it at City, but they must have got a healthy cake through his move to United. Liverpool got peas basically for no reason for Danny Ings going Villa in that. So things can happen, man. If we're not going to get a suitable replacement, then we can't afford to get rid of Laka. He brings to the team what our other strikers don't. Yeah, the hold-up play, the pressing, the link-up play, the dropping into midfield. I don't like praising someone for working hard, but that's what he has, man. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. Make sure you're supporting the thing on Twitch. Where are we at for likes now, folks? 206. I'll take that. But, yeah, people, I can't lie. It's time for me to go eat my soup, man. It's Friday. I'm tired. Been putting in the shift now, and it's time to go have a shower and relax. And obviously, between now and Sunday, we've got Chelsea versus Arsenal watch along. We've got previews to do. We've got Q&A, so the content never stops, people. I'll probably do a neutral watch along over on Twitch tomorrow as well for you timer people. There will be a timer. Probably Liverpool Burnley, because it's the 12:30 kickoff. But yeah, man, you know, I appreciate everyone that's been locked in. I hope you've all had a good week. You know, I'm going to have to love and leave you lot. Try quite simply. I'm tired, people. So, yeah, man.
There's always just that active red flag defenders.
I think it's like
Against this right back, Charlie.
still the foot.